Hello everyone, and welcome back to World of Warships Blitz with Terry. Today you are seeing me in my Bismarck. That's on my personal account, and the reason is I am just grinding for the battle honors on some ships that I've still got in port. So a very quick rundown of the Bismarck in my personal account. I am using the secondary spec, so the secondary elite bonus, together with the German main battery mod 2. And I'm actually having a commander that's being trained up on the Bismarck right here. So these are the settings. Camo, I think during the battle I was using one of the, was it the Iron Cross camo? I'm not sure. There was an event camo that I had laying around, so I was just using that. But Bismarck, obviously relatively sturdy tier 8 and very, very good secondaries. Although I hadn't touched the Bismarck in absolute ages. But let's go and get one battle, and that's just me on picking up my Bismarck after having not played that ship in a very long time, and having a quick round to grind for the battle honors. And since we're talking about the battle honors, as you can see, I'm still very much early here, but you gotta go win 15 battles in this thing. You might ask Terry, why are you? How are you at the Große Kur first and haven't played 15 battles in the Bismarck? That's because battle honors weren't introduced yet at the time when I was grinding the German battleship line. That's why. So I'm just catching up there. The second mission would be 45 Citadel hits, which should be doable. 1.2 million damage in total, not in a game, obviously. That's also doable. And then 30 battleships is also pretty much doable. So it's not like outrageously difficult. Probably the hardest or the longest one is one of the longer one is going to be the 45 Citadels. So might have to do that for a while until I get through that. But yeah, collecting a little bit of copper. So let's go and get into my first Bismarck game after having not played that ship for a very long time. And it's a tier 8 game on encounter. We've got an Anhalt. I think these things are leased ships from the Blitz Pass, so they're probably not upgraded. Although that one does look upgraded, so that's probably not the case. Atlantico, a Gascoigne, an Albemarle, double Minsk, and a Mahan. So let's go. You do, if I remember correctly, in the Bismarck have to control your aggression a little bit. Because you can't just run, you're a tier 8, you can't just run blindly into concentrated enemy fire. So we'll have to play it a bit smart. But I am spawning on the eastern side of encounter with Öland and New Orleans. So in an ideal case, Öland scouts, New Orleans gives me fire support, and I tank for the two of them. So I'm going to start moving forward, and I think the Öland has no interest in scouting and wants to sit between the islands in the center. So that already puts a little bit of a dent on that plan. Let's see what the New Orleans does. If the New Orleans is going to keep supporting me, and if that's the case, I'll be happy to push this flank. If that's not the case, then I might have to slow down a little bit until actually we know what we're up against. So with the Öland buggering off and running back to a friendly cap circle instead of scouting, I am now detected. That means there's one of the 3 destroyer, probably about there-ish. So New Orleans, destroyer over there. And the New Orleans probably just realized that he's running ahead in a cruiser and figured, nope, I'm not having any of that. Run away. So the New Orleans heads towards the middle. Now there's the Minsk. Now the Minsk isn't going to have torpedo range, so that's not a huge problem just now. And I'm just inching forward here to see what else is there. I haven't gotten anything better to shoot at. May as well shoot at the Minsk. Okay. Atlantico in the middle. And Gascoigne comes around the corner. So Minsk and Gascoigne. That's something I can take on. So let's begin by opening up at the Gascoigne, who doesn't make things too hard, and he's almost in secondary range. So if he's committed in a Gascoigne to take on a Bismarck, then well, I'm all for it. I'm not going to use my secondary overload on the Gascoigne. because I'm reserving that for any of the 3 destroyers, especially if the Minsk decides to rush me, which or to try and set fires from long range. Then I might have to just keep my distance a bit. But the Gascogne is playing in secondary range, and yes, before you start raging, I do realize now at watching the video that I am really not used to the 150s and how much lead I need to give them. But I now have the Minsk and the Mahan against me. So that was the right decision not to. Not to commit there, because I'm unsupported. Although the New Orleans may have shots from his position there, I'm just gonna go away. I'm gonna leave, and I do have another battleship coming with, and we are just going to absolutely obliterate the Gascogne. There come the torpedoes. And these might not even be aimed at me. I think these are Mayhem torpedoes, so not really going to be worried about those too much. Not Damaconing the single fire. Yes, I should not be trying to hit the superstructure, but aim for the bow section. Yes, I do need, and I think the Anhalt has gotten lucky. I do need to lead these 150s more. Anyway, that removes that very unfortunate battleship from the equation, and suddenly the Mayhem and the Minsk are alone against an Anhalt, myself, and a New Orleans. While there's one enemy battleship pushing lonesome, that's probably the Atlantico, pushing all alone towards the friendly capture circle. The rest of the team is very defensive here. Okay, we have now spotted the Albemarle as well. And with the New Orleans having some cruiser guns on target, I can actually start focusing on that thing again. Now, the Albemarle does have torpedoes, but I should be well outside torpedo range of the Minsk and the Mayen. So I don't think that thing has torpedo range. So unless he manages to get closer, but now he doesn't want to, because now there's a New Orleans coming along. So I'm not going to give the New Orleans too much crap about this, but that Albemarle may have torpedoes away, but he's not looking at me. Still not using the secondary overload. I'm reserving that for close encounters with destroyers like that Minsk over there. Hello, Mr. Minsk. Now, I can't exactly remember what the torpedo range was on a Minsk, but it's definitely, I think I'm definitely within it, so I do need to slow down now. And yes, with the secondary overload active, you do not want to sail broadside onto a Bismarck in a destroyer, if that's a Russian destroyer or not. So yeah, that should be a relatively dead Minsk. There come the torpedoes, that's Minsk and Mayhem. So Mayhem is out, Minsk is probably about out, and Minsk is also dead now. So Minsk might have been the one to reload first. Albemarle is now shooting at me. The Anhalt has run away and is hiding in the corner. You can see I was having fun, right? So Albemarle appears to be stuck. Let's see if we can get the precise aim up. And oh, he got himself unstuck. No, that's gonna miss. That's a shame. I would have enjoyed that hit on. There might have been a kill even on the Albemarle. There's the Mayen. Hello, Mr. Mayen. And he is within torpedo range, probably. I'm not exactly sure what the torpedo range on these things is, but might be about torpedo range. Let's get a couple more shots at the Albemarle, and I don't think the Mayen actually has torpedo angles at me, to be honest, if I just keep going forward. So I should be safe here, even if I am in range. And yeah, there come the Mayen torpedoes, but like I said, he doesn't actually have an angle because the island was in the way. So a couple parting shots out at the Albemarle, and then we are just going to use the secondaries on the port side to deal with the Mayen. And just slow right down because he's coming around the other side of the island. Still doesn't have torpedo angles at me, and is now well within the range of my 150mm secondaries. Now the main guns are pointing the wrong way, but I don't really need the main guns for this. So I can get a couple shots out. I missed anyway, but Mayen is now probably having torpedo angles, but is now also extremely dead. And that is the end of the game. And there you go. I still remember how to Bismarck. I'm just going to have to lead a little bit more against battleships with the 150s. But other than that, yeah. If you know torpedo ranges on your enemies, or even approximately, and if you're in a destroyer, really just don't go. Don't try. Either rush a Bismarck properly, bow in, or don't do it at all. But sailing broadside on within 4 kilometers of one is not very healthy for you. And if you're in a Gascogne, you definitely don't want to take on a Bismarck in a brawl, even if you have destroyer support, because the Bismarck can sail away and really, really make your day hard. Anyway, that's it for me today. Thanks, everybody, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.